Hi people, welcome to another episode of Madavi Mondays. Today we'll be talking about how to brand and market your accelerator. My name is Victor Ambuyo. I'm the current team lead at Madavi Agency, which is a digital performance marketing agency based out of Kenya, Rwanda, and the US. So, to give you a bit of context, startup accelerators are normally programs that are structured to be able to help startups to be able to get to the next level. As the name says, it's supposed to accelerate startups so that if you're at a certain point, once you go through the program, you can now be able to get to the next level. And these startups have, startup accelerators have been around for quite a few years. Globally, we have ones that are leading, and probably most of you know them. Some of the leading startup accelerators we have are like Combinator, we have Techstars and others. Locally in Kenya, we have ones like Growth Africa, we have Bao Network, and some others that are based on different areas. But the goal of startup accelerators normally is, one, to really help the startups get from one point to the other. And they normally do this by taking the companies, said startups rather, and their team members, vis-a-vis the founders, through a time-bound program, which through this program you're able to learn different modules about how to scale your company from financing to marketing and so on. But then what we have realized as Madavi Agency over time is there's been quite a huge emergence of startup accelerators that are now tailored for different industries, and we've been approached by a few in the past on just how they can be able to really segment themselves. As you all know, it is an accelerator, but at the end of the day, it's a company. So as I said, today we'll be talking about how you as a startup accelerator founder can be able now to really segment your company to get to the next level through branding and marketing. So I'll just be focusing on 8 points, just for the context of these videos. If you need more information about what you need to really do and the strategies and the approach, you can engage us separately or go to our website where we have more segmented material for that. Right? But for the purpose of this video, I'll just focus on 8 points. And the first point is, when you're setting up a startup accelerator, you really need to understand what's its core value and mission. So the mission statement should be, what's the purpose of the accelerator? Why are you creating this accelerator in the first place? And there are different accelerators. You find one that are geared only to help, let's say, the company scale from, let's say, 0 shillings to $1 million, and some that are focused to, let's say, scaling the company from, let's say, if you're making revenues of $1 million, you need to get to 100 million. They also start up accelerators for that. Key reason being, there is that clear understanding of what each and every company needs at a certain level is very different even as the company grows. So if you're starting out to create your own accelerator, first thing you have to really understand what's the mission statement, what's the purpose of the accelerator, why you're doing what you're doing. And then also you have to come up with core values, which are essentially principles that guide your day-to-day operations. The second thing is, you really need to hone in on the target audience. So for many, if not all startup accelerators, they normally have 3 major type of audiences that they deal with. The first one is the startups themselves. The second one is the investors and the mentors. And the third one is the corporate partners. And these 3 people together, when they come, they're the enabling stakeholders that make an accelerator to be either successful or unsuccessful. So when you're starting out, really honing on who's your target audience, which type of startups are you looking for, which type of investors are you looking for, and also when it comes to corporate partners, what kind of corporate partners do you want to be associated with your brand. The third one is, you need to develop a unique brand voice. So what do we mean by this? The way you communicate, the type of messaging you send out on the different platforms that you have needs to be very consistent. So for instance, if you're an AgriTech startup, that's a startup that only tailors to companies that are in the agricultural and technological sector, the communication, the messaging that you do really needs to be in line with the overall objective of what the startup does, and also use those terms to be able to make it easier for people who are looking for you to be able to find you. The other thing is you need to develop and design a visual identity that can be easily identifiable when people see it. From your logo to your colors to your typography to everything that you send out online, you should develop a consistent visual identities, which when someone sees this certain color or rather a mix of certain colors, they can be able to easily associate it with your startup and your startup accelerator. The other thing is your brand story. So each and every startup, we have so many startups, accelerators in the world currently, and each and every one of them tailors to a certain market, and they are known for specific things. And what really distinguishes them one from the other is their brand story. So your brand story needs to be very unique, and it needs to touch on what you do as an accelerator, who you tailor, what your services or the kind of services you offer, what kind of audience do they tailor for, and what kind of people do you want associated with their brand. So for instance, for accelerators, most of them have a program that's always recurring year after year. Every year they take in startups, they take them through the program, and then they have to do that again next year. So for instance, if you're looking to run that kind of model, you're looking for more startups to join your program as you go along, you have to send out a consistent messaging or rather story to your to the channels or to the where people can find your information, so that even potential startups that want to join your accelerator can be able to identify with this and then be able to make the necessary applications to join and become part of your program. The number 6, you should be able to have a strong brand presence. So focus on your socials, focus on your website, focus on all the channels that you really want to, because now you find with accelerators, some of them are based per country, which means they only take companies within one country. Some of them are Pan-African, which means they take companies from different countries. So now for you to be able to really touch and connect with other companies that are in different countries, the only way they can get to you easily is through your online presence. So your website needs to look very stellar, your social media presence needs to be very updated and talking about all the initiatives and all the efforts that you're doing and so on. Number 7, you need to leverage on partnerships. So what do we mean by this? Once you're going into a certain space as an accelerator, you realize you just can't do everything alone. So you try to look for partners that are able to provide different services to the startups themselves within your program, from advisory to financing to, let's say, just strategy and all of that. Make them to be part of your program so that collectively, even the startups that are coming and joining your program can derive more value from it, as opposed to just getting one thing alone. The other thing is the brand experience. So what we mean by this is, now you've set up your startup accelerator, you've had your first cohort come in, different startups have applied, they have come in, and then now you're focusing on startups. We understand as an agency, marketing is not everything. So yes, you have done all these different initiatives and efforts. You've been able to get the startups now within your program, but then now you need to take them through the said program. You have to ensure that your brand experience is really good. Ensure the companies that are within your program undergo a very cohesive experience, that they find value and they can derive value from it. And the second thing, also make sure that the onboarding process at the point of them joining the program is so easy and to the point whereby it's something that can be scalable and repeatable as you go along, right? The other thing is, which is the last thing essentially, you have to measure and refine. So each and every program, as I said, for most accelerators, they normally run on a yearly basis. So at the start of the year, they take in certain number of companies, take them through the program, and then at the end of the year, they graduate and take the next cohort. So be keen on taking the learnings that you get from the different programs that you run. So for instance, if you start an accelerator today, 5 years down the line, the learnings that you get with each and every cohort that you bring in should be able to enable you to enhance the program experience and help you to be able now to tailor and make it much better for the upcoming cohort. So basically that's it for how to brand and market your experience. I understand this is a very short video, and for more information, definitely reach out to us at Madavi Agency. We can be able to help you just strategize on how you can really improve your brand presence, how you can go online, which channels should be the best for you to tap, and where you can be able to really push out your brand so that now you get the right partners for your startup accelerator. That's all for now. Thank you so much, and looking forward to seeing you in the next video.